saw any of that.
Nobody saw any of that.
Are we gonna have to talk about all of that
We're
again?
gonna have to talk about all that again. Well, we don't have to talk about all that again. But hi
I'm
guys,
gonna
No,
we're
we
back.
can, I
What
think.
the hell?
No, we
happened?
have to talk about all of it again. I
know
feel
we
like
do.
that was.
What the hell happened?
Hey guys.
I know.
Are we live again?
We are live again. This is so bizarre. Why did that happen?
And why did no one say anything?
I was
This is
looking
their
at the
fault.
comments and I was like, the comments haven't budged in a while, and nobody texted me. Not a single fucking person. No one.
Where did we fall off?
Let's
is my
find
question.
out. We can do that.
Like, we fell off when I called in.
I think when you called in.
So everything that we just talked about. Oh no.
Oh, you
all
know
of
what
it.
it might have been?
What might it have been?
It might have booted us when we used Facebook to call her.
No, I think it was when I unplugged that
Oh, it
and
was when
plugged
you
it back
unplugged
in.
stuff?
Yeah, no, you were back behind the machine touching something.
That's
and
when
it
I-
went
No,
out.
he was
Oh, Joe.
getting
That's
his
when it
diddly
was a thing.
fingers
Always
all
touching
over
stuff.
everything. Let's
I
see where
mean,
we
to be
left
fair,
off.
I fixed the monitor,
To be fair.
You did.
right?
fair.
So now we
Well,
have the call
I
in.
think-
Are we live
You
now?
have you-
Sabrina, can you see
we are
us?
definitely live now.
Well, I mean, we're live, but is it a new link? Because it's not showing up on the old.
Okay, we just got a comment.
So,
Did somebody
yeah.
say something?
Kels, move closer to your mic. Hello. Maybe you could just turn up my mic a bit.
No?
No? You don't want to do that?
Oh, yeah, I thought you said did I?
No. Can
Oh.
you turn up my mic a little
Of course
bit?
I can.
Sorry, I'm all broken. Thank you.
Oh God.
Okay, you're back on.
Oh, it's so broken.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back now, I think.
We just went through a whole thing. So did
I know we,
we
did.
No, it's
Hang on. We'll figure it out. See? Look, I told you we're going to be working out kinks for the whole month. This is what we're going to
Lordy.
do.
Ooh, is kinks the new topic?
Mm-mm.
I'm sweating right now.
Don't sweat. All right, we are
All right.
definitely live. But where did we leave off? Let's find out.
We left off with "Hi, Lady Sabrina."
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, literally nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
So
none
we
of
are
it.
currently, for those of you that are joining our live stream right now,
Hi,
are
guys.
coming back to us. Hi. We just had an entire conversation with Lady Sabrina that none of y'all were a part of, so that was fun. But we're going to try to readdress everything from the start because
It's
we.
unfortunate because that was a great conversation.
Oh,
It was a good
it
conversation,
was.
and now I need to try to make sure that we touch on everything that we touched on.
Yeah,
Don't leave it there. Leave it there, Andrew. Leave it there.
All right.
Leave it there.
Fine, fine.
All right, can someone post this on my page? Because I can't do it now that I'm on the phone.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
that's true.
Yes. Yes, we will do that.
Justin's got
we will
that.
do that. All right.
We are
Andrew will take care of that for you
definitely
because
live now.
I cannot. So let me just recap. Well, let's rewind. We'll go to the beginning. So we did our shot. That was okay. Everybody saw that. And then we said we were going to call the Queen of Worcester, and then everything
And then
went
everything
to
went
shit.
to shit. It's her
So-
unimaginable power.
But here we are,
Just
and here you are. Lady Sabrina, say hello to the world.
Hello.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. God. Oh, I can't believe that just happened. I
it's
cannot
fine.
believe that. All right.
It's normal.
All right. So let's dive right into the topic of discussion, which is the drag community. And I first want to address with you, Sabrina. So you started. I mean, we're not going to discuss when you started. Moses was
Why?
parting the Red
I'm
Sea.
proud of my age.
Moses
And-
was fighting the red.
You
It was
know,
1980.
dinosaurs were still
was
around.
what was it
and
like dealing with the cotton gin?
How was how was it?
You know.
How was it when
I'm not allowed to be that
electricity
mean. Sabrina
was
could kill me.
invented? How was
Right.
the whole thing with the light bulb? How was that? No. All right.
How was it 3 days before the birth of Christ? How was that?
So when you first started in the drag community, it was really all about drag queens, correct? It was drag queens, right?
Predominantly, yes. There were very, very few drag kings.
Okay. All right. And then, I mean, it kind of evolved since then. I mean, I feel like we've come a long way. I think that, we're in a time now where there are drag queens, drag kings, there are AFAB queens, there are AMAB kings, and those are AFAB and AMAB are assigned female at birth, assigned male at birth. But I think the bottom line is personifying or accentuating the gender, right? Is that what it is?
Well, initially, when I came up in drag, A, we covered this earlier, but I'm going to go back through it.
If they
I
didn't
don't,
hear it.
right. The idea, and I understand that everybody wants to be identified and everybody has their own individual label, but drag is drag. Drag has always been drag. Drag is about entertainment value and what you bring to the stage. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, motivation for drag is different. I mean, some people do it for validation, some people do it for the acclaim, some people do it because it just makes them feel good to have someone applaud them in life where they don't get it anywhere else.
Right.
Mhm.
Right, right. No, I,
You know,
I, I agree. I like that, and I think a lot of people seem to forget. And I know I've seen like memes on Facebook and everything, but drag's been around for a long time, and people generally accept drag in certain areas. We had Robin Williams that did Mrs. Doubtfire. We've had. Bugs Bunny has been, dressing in drag. Who else do we have? Eddie Murphy has done it before.
Yeah. Oh,
Tyler
Tu
Perry.
Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu.
You know,
Perry got
Tyler Perry,
Tyler Perry.
Medea, yeah, it's absolutely accepted. But
Tom
then
Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks,
Tom
yeah,
Hanks and
yeah,
Bosom Buddies.
yeah, it's been around for a while, and I feel like it's very selective. I think for the rest of the world to decide, what's acceptable and what's not. And I find it interesting
it's acceptable.
that right. What did you say?
It's acceptable as long as you don't tie this sexuality to it, which is what they use
Right.
Exactly.
So
in
now this
order
is
to make it a negative.
So this brings me to my next point. So now we're looking at things now that exist like drag queen story time. And we have, all these people. I work for the Fall River Pride Committee, and they just did a drag queen storytime event. And they were met at the library.
Oh my God, I saw that
by,
video.
It was literally a neo-Nazi group. It was
bad.
it was a very serious
Angel
thing.
sent it to me, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?
And
that this
they,
happened?"
yeah,
in
and
Fall
they
River?
wanted to storm into the library, and they wanted to do all these things because they believe that the drag community is indoctrinating children. They are pedophiles. They are. So can you shed some light on that? Can you kind of explain
Well,
that?
I mean, the idea is there are two things. A, I don't see them storming into a church. I don't see them storming into Sunday Mass. Now, again, these are things that the church has already acknowledged. So these aren't questions or my opinion.
Right.
The other piece to it is that heterosexual cis white males are terrified of of anything that dips outside the norm.
Right.
And so honestly, when you're looking at the neo-Nazis or any of the groups or the Westboro Baptist Church or any of them, the idea about them is they like to hate.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter the topic.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what it would be. The
Right.
idea that they have picked up, this as the newest thing. I mean, it's because in this environment right now, hate has been normalized.
Right. Right. I agree. I
This
agree.
is this is our new culture right now. Is that somebody, we shall remain
Who
nameless,
shall remain nameless?
right?
Yep.
Has pulled the top off of it
Right.
and publicly, horribly, made fun of, Mexicans, disabled people,
Yep.
a variety of other things.
Yep.
And so once you justify,
We're keeping that person nameless,
Did you see that
Andrew.
freaking light
It took him
bulb?
it took him until just now to
Just
realize who
now.
you were talking about. By the way.
No worries. I didn't mean to interrupt. I
needless to
apologize.
say, that once society sees that this is tolerated,
Mm-hmm.
now everybody else feels emboldened to be able to do it too.
Right.
And with right now they're hard coming after drag queen story time.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. The
has
drag
been a
queen
thing
story time thing
for
is
a long time,
huge right now.
and they're coming at it hard. And is it Shea Coulee or
Shea Coulee?
Shea Coulee?
Yeah.
Who's a RuPaul queen?
Yeah.
This has been going around as a meme everywhere. Everybody screenshotted it and posted it, which is like, just thinking about how that show To Catch a Predator and how they expose husbands, fathers, faith leaders, and community leaders, but never a drag queen.
Never.
Never.
Right.
Never.
It's not the same. It's not the
See,
same.
but
Isn't that interesting?
But this is the thing, is that you're trying to rationalize irrationality.
I know.
Right. Right.
It's like talking to a brick
The
wall.
reality is it has nothing to do with it. They are picking up any banner, any, anything that they can find to come at the gay community. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if you can say, but you do that.
Right.
None of it matters.
So I think
None of it matters.
the bottom line for me, and again, I expressed this to you off air, but now we're talking about it again. I think that at the end of the day, it's a choice. If you choose to bring your child to drag queen story time, you're teaching them that there is freedom of expression, and you can express yourself in any way that you want, and it literally has nothing to do with indoctrinating children or. I mean, we could go into gun control and religion and all these things that.
Don't do that.
Well, I'm just saying we can go into all these topics that they are teaching you, or teaching their children all these certain things, but when it comes to something like this, other people aren't allowed to have that same freedom of expression or be able to teach their children in a way that they think their children will learn to love and accept and be tolerant to people that want to do different things or express themselves in a different way. I feel like that's completely acceptable. And and if you decide that you raise your children in a way, if you decide you raise your children in a way that you don't want to bring them to that, then it's your choice to not bring them. And at the end of the day, just don't bring them. That's it. That's really what it comes down to. And you shouldn't.
Right, but this isn't about individual acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
This is about strong-arming people to believe things the way you do.
Mm.
It is the same way that you have people with some religious affiliation knocking on your door.
Right.
Which is
I
odd
didn't
because
come
that's
out to
why
you.
the English left.
Right.
That's why they left Plymouth and
Well,
landed
I
in
mean-
Plymouth.
All right. Well, I don't listen. I don't want to spend.
Get me started.
I don't
No,
want to
yeah, I
spend.
know.
I don't
We
want
have
to
to-
spend too much time on all of this. I did want to touch
Well,
on the
but
topic.
seriously, the separation of church and state, long gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I wanted to touch on the topic. I wanted to talk about it for a little bit.
Oh, we could go on for
But we could talk
years.
forever. I want to get down to the nitty gritty. And when I say the nitty gritty, what I mean is, this show is about nightlife. The show is about bars, nightclubs, things like that. So what I really want to discuss is drag shows and drag shows within a bar or a nightclub. And pick your brain on, the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs, things that you think have worked, things that haven't worked, if you have any stories of, experiences that you've had. So let's start with...
And we do have queens in the audience as well.
We do?
Yeah, we do. We have Mikhail Savage, Monica Moore. They're all hanging out.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, hello to the drag performers that are in the audience. You guys are going to have a chance
Share
to
this
call
with
in
your
at some
friends
point
so
as
that
well.
everybody knows.
Sabrina will be with us on the line while you guys call in so that we can all talk together. But Sabrina, right now it's all about you. So what I want to know is what is your number one pet peeve when it comes to you performing at a drag show? What do you think? What to you stands out in your mind as like the biggest no-no as somebody that's watching a drag performer? What are you not to do?
Okay. Well, are we talking about from like a no-no for the drag queen and a no-no for
No, not the drag queen. I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get to that. I'm talking about from a customer standpoint. Like, I want you to give the audience the rundown of like, how a drag show works, what's acceptable, what's expected, and the things that they shouldn't do based on the experiences you've had and the biggest no-nos of like, I can't believe you did that,
Well, I mean, there are so many, but I
I
think
know
one
we'll
of the
be here for ages.
I think one of the biggest ones is don't touch someone unless they've give you permission.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep. Actually, it's funny that you say that because we had a New Year's Eve show at Bobby's, and I was so fortunate to have the Savage family in the
Hey, I
house,
had my sisters.
minus Sam Savage,
Yeah,
but we're not going to discuss that.
I wanted to.
And the whole show went off without a hitch. Everything was fantastic.
It looked cool.
And towards the end of the show, one of the performers came up to me and complained because a customer kept trying to stick money in very specific places. And I'm assuming unless you invite them, that's a no-no, right?
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. They're going to, look, people are going to take liberties. That happens. But what you do is, like, anytime anyone has touched one of my girls in a way that I or they have been offended, I make an announcement.
Yep.
Before I announce the next person, I let them know
Yep.
up front. That's not okay. Now, I may not point them out unless they're a drunk fool. I might point them out.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm going to make a blanket statement. Don't do it. And if I see you do it, now I'm watching you.
Yep.
And see, this is why the host is so important.
Right.
They don't just announce the people or entertain the audience. They maintain the balance.
Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people in the drag community fail to realize is how difficult it is to be a host because there's a lot involved. It's not so much just about putting on a show. It's more about, observing your audience, maintaining the attention, captivating them in a way that you're gonna keep their attention throughout the entire show, where they're not bored or they want to wander off, or reminding them to tip your performers, and again with the whole touching thing. And that it's funny that you said what you said, because I handled the situation exactly in that way. And I think for me, it's because I've worked with you for so long that I've learned those cues, and I've learned, there's a certain way that you have to handle those situations. And at the end of the day, you're not trying to embarrass the customers. They come in here, they're patrons, they pay money to enjoy the show. But at the same time, you need to make it clear to them that, what they did is not okay, and it makes the performers uncomfortable. And as a host, you want to make sure that both sides are happy, ultimately.
No, absolutely. And it's my job to make sure that the audience nor my performers are disrespected.
Right.
And that's why even, one of the last shows that I did at Bobby's, the audience didn't applaud when I finished announcing the person. That's unacceptable.
Right.
We're going to stop that. We're going to do it again, and y'all are going to pay attention the way you're supposed to.
Right.
Because if you're not, why are you here?
Right. Absolutely.
It's my job. It's my job to make sure they understand what the etiquette is.
Yeah.
Well, that great gentleman, Patrick, is here, and he's like constantly on the lookout while performing, while keeping the flow of the show going, while making sure everyone is having a good time. Hosting is no joke.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. But so let's move on to the next question. So how do you decide what you're going to perform at a venue? What is it that you take into consideration when it comes to the song choices?
Well, I mean, I always kind of read my audience. If I've been to the venue before, I kind of know what the audience likes and what they don't like.
Right.
And even if it's not my aesthetic, I'll still do it because it's about entertaining them.
Right.
Now, yes, it's about my free expression and yada, 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 but I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm
Damn
being
straight.
paid to
Damn
do this.
It's
Yes.
job.
So my job is to entertain the audience. Now,
You do.
So I
mean,
said this when we were off air, but again,
why, thank you.
can I carry your books to school for like ever? Like you're just
Absolutely.
everything I want to be when I grow up. I'm just saying.
Can I just say, I've been to very few drag shows. I've been to a handful of drag shows, for sure. And two of them, luckily, were yours. And I also
thank you.
saw you at Pride. So you,
Oh yeah.
you hands down are one of the most amazing performers that I've ever. I've been to a few drag shows, and nothing compares to the ones that I've saw when I was with you. Because not only do you dance and you do phenomenal, but you have comedy. You also stand there before you do your thing, and in between introducing everybody, you do almost like a stand up. And I've never laughed so hard than I have when I've seen you. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Honestly.
But I mean, but that's the thing is like people go to drag shows to forget themselves for a minute.
Yes.
You know, they want to enjoy themselves. Some go for the music, some go for the comedy. So I try to give them both so that no matter what you came for, you get it.
Right.
Books, school,
Right.
forever.
You do that.
Well, and I love to talk shit. So
I also very
It's
much
justified.
I think it's fair to say too that every drag performer brings something different to the table, and we do have in that community there are comedy queens, there are singing queens, there are talent queens. I mean, you look at somebody like Black Brandy, for example,
Oh my God.
who is I would
Dancing queen.
refer to Black Brandy as an acrobat performer.
she's so
Because she does more splits and flips and
I tried
kicks
that show that I
and-
did with her. I tried to keep up, and I could not walk for 2 days.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
not
no.
Yeah.
wise.
and that's a different thing.
Me and
And
my
you know,
three-piece suit
No,
should
she's like
just sing
Gumby on
live.
steroids.
when you and
Don't be on stage.
and I mean when you're like Sabrina, when you were there when the Bible was written, you get to a point where you're not gonna do the flips and the kicks and the splits and the so taking the focus and making it like the fact that to me Sabrina is 150% a comedy queen, and correct me if I'm wrong.
God, yes.
I feel like that's really what the forte is there, and I think that every performer that I've worked with has something different to bring to the table, and that's really my point. And I think that you look at somebody like Monica Moore, for example, who is still very new in the game, very new in the community, and she to me is a fashion performer where she focuses a lot on her outfits and how she looks and her appearance, and that's really and I'm trying to think of like a RuPaul girl that she reminds me of, where it's all about the aesthetic, the look, you know what I mean? But my point is, every performer is different. Every performer focuses on something different, and it's the same in the DJ community, where I know I said this last week about DJs, where every DJ really has something that they shine
That they
at,
do,
something
yeah,
that
that
they
they
do
do
better
well.
than anything else. And I am very lucky to have a circle of DJs that there are different things that each of them are experts at that I might not be the best at. So if somebody ever comes to me and asks for something, I know who to go to. But I do think that in the drag community, I have that same circle. Not the same people, but the same circle where, depending on what it is that they're looking for, I have something for everyone. I have people in all different backgrounds that do different things. But at the end of the day, if I ever have any questions or doubts or I'm confused about anything, Lady Sabrina is my go-to.
She's your girl.
She's my
girl.
drag mother, and I'm not even a drag performer. But I know that what it comes down to is Sabrina, you've been around long enough that I've experienced a lot of that with you, which is great, and I'm very fortunate to have that opportunity. But I mean, you've introduced me to so many different performers and showed me, what works, what doesn't work, and again, the ins and outs. And
When Justin told me that we were going to be performing with you for Pride, I shat myself. I was like, I get to perform on the same stage as Sabrina. I lost my fucking mind.
Well,
Straight up.
I appreciate everything that you guys say, but I mean, I think the thing is that if you want longevity in drag, you have to venture outside your norm. You have to venture outside. Like if you want to host, you have got to learn how to be a comedy queen. Not necessarily in your numbers, but you have to be able to break some balls,
right,
because
I did all
you
right
have
my
to deal
first
with
time.
hecklers.
right.
I think I did all right my first time.
Yeah.
There were definitely some hiccups, but I think I did all right my first time I was doing.
How do
Well, I
you
mean, the
deal
thing
with
is that
hecklers?
when you get a heavy heckler, that's when you're gonna know how
Come
well.
at me, bro.
So Andrew just asked how you deal with hecklers. What's your approach when it comes to hecklers?
I love hecklers.
Yeah.
Me
I
too.
love them.
Me too.
I
I-
love this so much.
I would pay for hecklers to come to the show.
I'll give you $20 to be an asshole. Let's go.
So you have fun with it, right?
No, Oh yeah, you know what? The thing is that I know you're not going to get the last word.
Hmm.
I know I have a microphone and you don't.
And you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
and I have enough insults in my piggy bank to take you out permanently.
Right. 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 No,
So
that's
I mean, the idea is go ahead, come at me. Go ahead, come at me. I love it.
I know, come
I
at me, bro.
love it.
yep. And I tell
I
people
love
all the
it.
time too. I really feel like I learn from the best when it comes to that, and I'm very quick-witted, and I make sure that I'm on
you're
top
all
of
right.
it. I have to. You have to be in the industry. You have to be.
You have to be.
And it's fun for me because I don't have to deal with the stress of tucking and putting on a wig and wearing the makeup, and which I'm not opposed to. I mean, I think that someday, maybe,
We'll get you in a dress someday.
maybe someday. But I already told Sabrina if I'm ever gonna do it, it's gonna be a show that Sabrina's involved in. I will not. I will not
can
do
I
it
be there,
otherwise.
please?
I will not do it otherwise.
I want to be
But
there.
it is absolutely something that I've
We can
considered.
sing together. It'll
But
be
I mean,
funny.
as far as wit is concerned, and as far as speaking to the audience and everything, I've definitely taken a lot from Sabrina, and I'm very grateful to you for that. By the way, thank you
Oh,
so much for everything you've
honey,
taught me.
honey, you don't ever have to thank me for any of that. That's my job. I mean, when my light fades, who's gonna step in? I have to be able to educate the people, and that's why I'm not stingy with any of the things that I've learned in drag. I don't care. Like, I'm never threatened by another person. I'm never threatened that someone's going to take my job or whatnot.
Right.
Because, I mean, 36 years later, and I'm still working, and half of the people who had something to say about me aren't.
Do you consider the drag industry to be a cutthroat industry?
I think it can be, but
Hmm.
I think it has to do with if how they're raised.
Right.
Right? It's
Because
all about
if
your
you're
drag
raised with
parents.
humility,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're raised with humility and you understand that everything that you have right now could be gone in a blink, so you need to be appreciative of that.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
I mean, I have come back more times than Shirley MacLaine. Like,
I'm still getting
you
over
know,
36 years.
Oh God!
can't.
So
I mean, it's
Sabrina,
like,
if you don't mind, we are going to take some callers as well because I mean I do want to open up the phone lines to everybody else and see if
do it.
anybody
I hope there's
has
hecklers.
anything to say, anything to add. So I am going to reach out to everybody. What's our number? It's 508
802 4356.
802-4356. So if you are tuning in right now, we're on the line with Lady Sabrina. We are very lucky to have her here with us right now. If you want to call in, if you have questions, if you have anything you want to add to anything that we've discussed, or if we've missed something and you want to bring something up, or you have a topic that you'd like us to discuss, now's the time to call in, and we will take those calls and we will discuss things together. But while we're waiting for those calls to come in, I actually have some cards here next to me called Best Story Wins. And we pull a card, and whatever it is that's on the card is what we discuss. So, Sabrina, are you ready for a little improv
Oh,
story?
I'm ready. I think I just soiled myself. Let's do it.
Okay, so the card that I just pulled is name a time I got caught shit-talking someone or vice versa. So,
I mean,
so I'm gonna give you
like-
guys.
uh,
I'm gonna give you guys a minute. Oh, and I think we have somebody. Do we have
we
somebody
do.
calling
We
in?
have somebody coming in, but
So I'm gonna let you stew on
You-
that, but
you
let's
stew
take our
on that.
caller. Let's take our caller
so
first.
let's see if we can take our caller.
All right.
Hang on. Oh my lord, I'm getting better at this. Hello, caller.
Caller, are you there?
Hello, it's Monica.
Hello.
Who is this?
How are you?
Who is
oh
this?
my God, hold on.
Oh, wait,
This
oh
is
my-
Monica.
It's
Monica Moore.
How are
Sabrina,
you?
are you still with us?
of course I am.
All right. Monica, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are fantastic. Thank you for
Alright.
calling.
What do you got for us,
So
baby?
I wanted to talk about how you guys were talking about tipping and putting money in spots that you didn't want it.
Okay.
Now, normally, I don't mind when people tip in my breast unless I have an idea of where I want to be on the stage for performing. Do you ever run into issues where, like, someone's trying to tip you in your breath and they can't get it in and it's slowing you down? Does that aggravate you? Because I know personally it aggravates me.
I've had people throw tips down my pants where I wanted to throw punches.
Sabrina, how do you handle that when someone's trying to tip you, they're taking too long?
Oh, well, it depends. If the dollar's in the air, I snatch it. If it's down my chest, I ride them like a dolphin at Marie World and make them part of the act.
All right, but what if they're trying to put it in your chest plate and you're trying to get back to the stage and you don't really have time? How do you address that in a polite manner?
Cordial manner.
Well, here's the thing: is that if I have to get back to the stage, I get back to the stage. And if your hand came out as I walked away, it did. And if you kept
That's
the
your
dollar,
problem, not mine.
yours.
You can come to
I mean,
me.
the idea is, I think there's a lot of different perceptions. Like, on me, you can't touch anything that's real.
That's very
Anywhere.
true. Queens
Like,
are
maybe my
way more
hands to my
padded than we
face.
are.
Right? And if
Yeah.
you touch my face, we're going out back. You know,
Don't touch
but,
the face.
you know, so my perception is going to be different because I don't care where you touch because you aren't getting anywhere.
Right.
Whereas, like, you know, other people who have real anatomy hanging out, you know, that would be different because it's personal.
Right.
Like, if you could have your hand on my ass for about 20 minutes and I wouldn't even know it.
I've had people, like, you know, grab my packer before, and that's like, whatever. But, like, when they grab my ass, I'm like, excuse you?
Oh.
Like,
See, that's the difference.
Yeah,
I like the ass grab. It
It's
gives me a little
your
motivation.
ass.
Andrew said he can relate. Oh,
Did
Did you
God.
grab my ass? Never
Oh, my
mind.
God, I'd love to, but no, I did not. I meant I can relate to the same thing happening to me, and that was complete sarcasm.
Monica, I don't know how long you've been watching, but we were discussing how you're a fashion performer, and I think that your outfits are out of this world. I always look forward to you performing because I can't wait to see what you're going to wear. I think that you bring some really amazing outfits to the table, I guess, and I want to commend you for that. I want to make sure that you know that you know, to me, that's something that really stands out to you as a performer. So,
Thank you. Yeah, I always try to wear something different every time, and the same with my songs too. I never like repeating songs. I always try to come up with something new. So.
yes, as long as you do a Pink song every single time, one Pink
I
song.
have to.
me over here being the
All right,
lazy
Monica, do you have
asshole.
any more questions for Sabrina? Anything else you want to say to us?
No, that's all.
All
Have
right.
a great night, guys.
Well, we
Calling.
appreciate you calling. Thank you for calling in.
Of course. Have a good night.
You too.
What do you want to know?
All right.
What do you want to know?
All right, so we are still taking callers. Now's the time to call in if you want to. The phone number is
508-802-4356.
That's
It's right in
right.
the corner over there underneath the chat.
That's right. You can see it right in the chat. But now that we've had some time, it's time I got caught shit-talking someone or vice versa. So do either of the two of you have a story you want to share? Or Sabrina, do you have a story that you want to share?
Well, I mean, there are many stories where I talk shit, but, like, I don't care if you catch me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Actually,
I never say anything about anyone that I wouldn't
Wouldn't say to their
them.
face. I
right.
do that same
And that's
thing.
what I was going to say, too. I mean, I feel like anytime I've ever been caught talking shit, it's because I ratted myself out, and I'm like, hey, I told this person this.
I'd
Like-
never say anything that I wouldn't, and that's years
Can we
of
pick
being
another
on
one?
this
Pick
team.
Yeah, we can pick
pick
another
a
one.
different one. 'Cause I think
Most awkward time I accidentally said I love you to someone doesn't have to be a relationship.
Easy.
So while
Oh,
you're thinking
boy.
about that, we have another caller,
we have another
and we're going to take this caller.
And let's see who they are.
All right, and Jolene, you are live on the air. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jolene.
Oh, my God. I love this show. I
Thank-
love listening to all of you. You all are killing it.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so much.
Just
Thank you
begging
so
you,
much.
please don't take my man.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, I already sang it. He just finished the line.
Jolene, how many
I
times
think-
have you heard somebody make that joke?
Well, I
If
don't
she
know.
had
A lot.
nickel.
A lot.
Probably
But, any
every
one of
friggin' day
them
of her
can feel
life.
free to sing it for me.
Oh.
I'd
If I
be
had my
okay
full
with
voice,
that.
I would serenade you, girl.
All right, Jolene, what's
All
up? What's
right.
going on?
And nothing. I just wanted to say congrats on the show, and to all of you. You all killed it at Taunton Pride last year. we're already planning this year, so y'all better mark it down on your calendar.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Jolene is actually part of the Taunton Pride Committee, which is part of the South Coast Network, the South Coast LGBTQ plus network. And they hosted their first Pride last year in Taunton. It was literally so well maintained and managed and organized. Jolene, you guys crushed it. You crushed it. It was so good.
It was fun.
It was so good.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And you were all so entertaining, and it was an amazing day. And we just can't thank all of you enough, all of you performers. You guys, you just killed it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jolene. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you, baby.
It was just amazing. So anyway, we'll all be talking again soon. And Justin, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes. All right. I will see you tomorrow night. Thank you for calling in.
All right. Good night, everybody. Bye.
All right, let's get to this. Let's get to this most awkward time I accidentally said I love you to someone. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is it?
I didn't.
Sabrina?
I didn't say I love you to them. They said it to me,
Okay.
and I was drinking a lot, and instead, to try and get out of it, opposed to saying I love you back, I just kind of whispered elephant juice.
Elephant juice, yeah.
That's my favorite.
Elephant
Olive juice, elephant shoe.
elephant shoes. Elephant shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the person was like,
And then
"Oh
the
my
other one
god!"
is I
I'm
need a
like,
vacuum.
the guy was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Was that wrong? Should I not have done that?"
Yeah, I never said I love you to somebody I didn't mean it to.
No,
all right, so
and
I just picked up another card and it said worst haircut I've ever received. I wasn't going to announce that one out loud, but I will tell you guys, for anybody that doesn't know, I had some really interesting haircuts growing up. And on that list of haircuts that I can recall, I know that a mullet was on the list. I definitely had a mullet.
On the list. I could probably find you a picture.
And we'll clip this part of the show. And I will post in the comments section. I will post pictures of the mullet that I had. But I definitely had a mullet. I had a rat tail, and my favorite one that I had was the bowl cut. Did you guys ever?
What do you mean
you had
the
the bowl
favorite?
cut? Yeah, I don't know. It just
You're gonna
listen
do it again?
because at that time, okay, like in the '90s, the Backstreet Boys were hip, and I remember Nick Carter used to have a bowl cut, and I was like, I'm like Nick Carter, right? Like, am I the only one, Andrew?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Can I just really quick? So I had a bowl cut, and all I wanted to do was be Nick Carter.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the concept that his hair was basically straightened. And I thought it was just thin-ass hair.
Yep.
So I went online when this was online. I was probably 13 years old. It first came out, and I looked up how to thin your hair.
Stop
I
it.
swear to God, and I did. I had no idea about straighteners. So what I did usually before I went to school was I would take 2 handfuls of gel, this Clubman gel, this green goop, and I would throw it in all of my hair and just part it down the middle and just
Because you wanted to be like Nick Carter from the
shellac it to
Backstreet
my
Boys.
head. Yes.
Okay, but nobody, I bet
mean-
nobody has had a better hairstyle than Sabrina, because Sabrina, you were around in like the 70s and stuff. So
Oh,
Oh, you
Yes.
had that.
so let's
Aquanet
discuss
hair.
your hairstyles. Did you ever have like super long hair or like a fro?
oh my
or
god!
like,
I look like dead or alive.
stop it.
I'm not kidding. My hair was down to the crack of my butt.
Stop it. Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh God, that's
Absolutely.
fun. And actually, Kels, now that I'm thinking about it, I've known you for what, like 15 years?
Yeah, we're on.
And
yeah,
I have
butt
seen
second
you.
hand.
I have seen you with long hair. I've seen you with short hair. You've done the pixie cut. You've colored your hair. Numerous different colors. When I met you, your hair was blue,
Yup.
actually.
Yeah.
And you've had a bunch of different
I've
styles.
gone through the spectrum.
Yeah, yes.
I think the one that I regret the most is I cut my hair. This is when I was in high school. I cut my hair like Gillian Anderson when she was playing Dana Scully on the X-Files.
Okay.
And colored it that bright ass fucking orange.
Oh no.
It was. I got pictures my whole junior and senior year.
I think somebody just tried calling in. If you just tried calling in, try calling
Yeah,
in
oh,
again.
sorry,
I
I
feel
just-
like we just missed something. Call
I
us.
just missed it.
Call us back if you have a story you want to share with us.
know,
We're
I
taking.
do. I
We're
got it.
taking.
It's a Rhode
we're
Island
still
number.
taking calls.
Island.
It was a Rhode
Oh,
Island
we missed the
number.
Rhode Island
We
number.
missed
You
the
should
Rhode
you should
Island.
call him back.
Call back, Rhode Island.
Call him back.
Call him back? I'll call him back.
You call them.
I'll call them.
You call them.
Let's mess with
Oh,
them.
so aggressive.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's call them
Let's
back.
call them.
This is aggressive.
Let's call them.
Hello.
What?
Hello. Who is this?
It's Patrick.
It's Patrick!
I was waiting for you to say, this is movie. phone.
Literally,
This
I
is-
saw the
this is
401,
Patrick.
405, and went, oh my God, that's Patrick.
Oh my
Well,
God.
don't
Hi,
dodge
honey.
me.
All right, Patrick. Let me start by asking you this question. How many times have you said, "This is Patrick"?
So very many. Probably since the inception of that.
That's a SpongeBob
Ben.
reference for those of you that don't get
Oh,
it.
So, in case you guys don't know, this is my
That'd be
partner, Patrick.
Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Patrick.
Say hi to Patrick.
Hey, Bobo.
Hi, guys.
What's up,
Actually,
Patrick?
I had a question. I do have a question.
For Lady Sabrina?
Yeah.
Go for it. What do you got?
Please.
So
Give it
it's
to me.
sort of a general question for any like kings or queens. I'm somewhat of an outsider to the drag community, and I've dressed up in drag before, and I've done like a little bit performance, but nothing like actually in the community. And as an outsider, I think this might be a hot button topic, but I think it's hard sometimes seeing how pettiness can worm its way in between lifting each other up and like making sure that, you know, you and your fellow performers succeed. I'm an actor myself. I see it a lot in our community. And especially with drag functioning as like a gig economy, how do you combat that toxicity, encourage lifting each other up instead of sort of a survival of the fittest mentality?
Jesus Christ,
Well,
that was the most intelligent question.
What a great
Well,
question.
I mean, I think the thing is that you lead by example. There's no way you're going to take all the toxicity out of the drag community. What you have to do is you have to create the bubble around you where people feel safe and encouraged. And if they feel that they need something, they know where to go.
Right.
I,
Yeah,
The
I agree with that.
I think the frustration is a person who doesn't have those tools or don't have those outlets and have to resort to asking backbiting queens, you know, for encouragement when they're threatened by you and will do nothing other than make you look a certain way so that you're never a threat. I mean, I grew up without a drag mother. So I now, when I mentor my girls, I mentor them in a way that I had wished I had been. Because I grew up in a situation where they told me I was too tall, too loud, too bawdy. I didn't dress right. I didn't do this. And you know what? 36 years later, I'm still performing, and the girls who had something to say about me, they're not around.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I like
So-
I like what Michaela Savage, who's one of my drag sisters, Michaela Savage. You attend other shows and you show support.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you go to other people's shows. I mean, they know because I don't live far from here. So Bobby's Nightclub does a drag show every Saturday night, and when my drag family performs here, I'll show up in my pajamas
Yeah.
with like 10 ones, and I'll be like, "This is all I can give you, but I'm here, so yay!"
Yeah. I think, and to touch on what Sabrina said, Patrick, I feel like it's really important to try to remain positive no matter what. I think that, you know, even though it's such a cutthroat industry, it's really important to try to stay away from that drama and not to include yourself in those conversations. Like, it's one thing for people to be talking about somebody, and you know, I know it's really hard to sit there and listen to somebody saying something about another performer. But the best thing that you can do is just not say anything. You know what I mean? And not you know,
participate,
add yourself in that conversation. And it's not like the first thing that you should do is run to the performer they were discussing and you say, hey, you know, these people were talking about you. I feel like in my experience in the industry, you know, just let people say what they're going to say and you feel the way that they're going to feel. And if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. Like, I know that I have defended people to a certain degree. If somebody says something about a performer that I know is untrue, then I will step in and I will say something and I'll say that's absolutely not true. But if they're going to turn around and just be like, well, that person's a bitch, All right. Well, you think that person's a bitch. Like, that's what do you want me to do?
I've
you know,
come to find,
And there's no reaching them in that situation.
right? You know,
Right.
but if they're going to
the
turn
old
around and
adage,
they're going to
that's
say,
why.
well, that person, that person steals, clothes from people that they perform with. Like, if I know that that's not really a thing, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's not a real thing that happens.
I find
Like,
that negativity breeds more negativity, which ends up meaning that you're just going to fall out of the industry in general.
right.
Like
Right.
if,
Well, I
if
mean,
you surround
Yeah.
yourself with this toxic negativity, it's a cloud, and nobody wants to go anywhere near you. Eventually, you're just gonna stop getting booked.
Yep, and I'll tell you too. Without giving any specific names, I mean, I work with 30 plus drag performers. In my career, and a lot of them don't like each other. And that's
Yeah.
fine with me. That's
Yep.
absolutely, listen, if you have an issue with another performer, that's your issue with that performer.
I have
Just don't
straight up
bring that
performed with
issue to
people
me.
that I don't like.
Yeah, and
and-
I respect that. And you know what, people have their reasons. And some of them are valid and some of them are legitimate. And I respect that.
Because Lady Sabrina, I don't know why I'm pointing to the monitor.
He's
Like
pointing
she's
to the
right
monitor.
There.
Lady Sabrina, she's in this little box
You're
right here.
There. That's where you live now. But like as Lady Sabrina said, like your job, it's our job. We show up, we perform, and we make people forget about their lives for just a little bit.
Yep.
Like that's our job.
Yep. Focus on that.
And that's what I focus on.
Yeah.
And maybe we make money on top of that. Yay.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't care who I'm performing with, as long as we all collaborate and put on a good show.
So I guess
Cool.
I
can
guess
hate your ass and I'll still do it.
with all of that being said, Patrick, when are you going to be performing for me? Because I
Hey,
know that I
when
have.
His drag name is Hera C.
Okay.
Ooh,
All right.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I know that I have.
I have pictures. I can share them.
I have open stage drag night happening at Bobby's Place on Thursday nights now. Starting this Thursday, we're actually starting an LGBTQ plus night at Bobby's, which is specifically for
Does
the
drag
community.
night start this week?
And no, drag night
know.
will start next
Next
week. Next week, because we need a week to prepare. We want to make sure we have all our ducks in a row. But Thursday nights will be gay night at Bobby's now. So that way,
Yeah.
we have a specific night, and if everybody's looking for somewhere to go, that's the place to go. And then if all goes well, and business is fantastic, I'm gonna push for Bobby to get that 2:00 license back, so that we can be open until 2 a.m. on Thursdays.
Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna try to see if that he can hire a DJ out back, so we can have the dance floor open. Because once upon a time at Bobby's, believe it or not, guys, Tuesday nights were open until 2 a.m. We did have a DJ out back. It was a huge thing, and for some reason, and I blame COVID. I think that kind of
I
fell
think so,
off,
too,
and I
yeah.
want to get back to that. So.
I don't blame COVID, but let's move on.
I don't blame
Let's
COVID.
But
I'd rather
you're
shit in
local
my
and
hands
you're
and clap, but that's
But
another
Thank
story.
you.
Baby, I love your face, and that was an amazing question.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, thank you for calling in. Thank you for
love
your
you,
question. We
Well,
love you.
Love you guys.
I
Have a
mean, just to
wonderful
kind
night.
of add on to that, I mean, the reality is that there's a lot of people, who you're gonna like, who you're not gonna like. If you can't find an uplifting person in the room, be them.
Be
Right.
that uplifting person.
Right.
Damn straight.
nice.
Right.
Step up to
Right.
that plate.
And actually, that's good because I say that all the time too. I say, don't ever let anybody tell you who you are. Show them. Show them
Right.
who you are. That's
Actions
Well, I mean,
speak
but that's
louder
the
than
thing
words.
is like, and if you want to talk shit about me, that's okay. You're promoting me.
yeah,
Yeah.
Keep going.
yeah.
Keep going. Let people try and come and see what is such a big deal that I rent space in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nice.
I live rent free
Nice.
on your head, bitches.
All right. With all that being said, we are going to move on to our last segment, which is last call.
Ooh,
Last call. So last call, we are going to take, if somebody calls in, we'll take one more caller. If nobody calls in, we're going to do just one more card for Best Story Wins. And that card is the worst meal I've ever had. So
These are lame.
These
Oh,
that
come
one,
on.
that
What
one,
is
that
the
one was
worst?
that
we're
one
keeping
was
it
lame.
tame. We're keeping it tame.
That
No,
one was-
what's the
Alright.
worst date?
That was
Worst date.
Worst meal I've ever had. What was it? Did you say it was the worst
No,
date?
Sabrina said worst
no.
date.
So Sabrina wants something.
Let's go
not-
Worst
date.
date
Let's
you've
go
ever
worst
had?
date. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah. You know what? Since you all right, we will let you kick things off with your worst date. Worst date you've
Do
ever
it,
had.
girl.
Go ahead.
Get you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Was it at
good.
Olive Garden?
No, we actually went to this bar in Boston. It was like a blind date. I wasn't into him. He wasn't into me. Like, we got there, and I mean, I was still going to continue the date because I'm not rude.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
not going to do it again. But he got drunk and started trying to auction me off to people.
Stop it.
No way.
No,
Get
no,
the
no. It was
fuck
really
out.
good. So obviously that didn't work. So the end of the night, we're leaving, and he's too drunk to drive. So I'm driving his Mustang, his brand new Mustang, and I keep turning the radio down because I have a headache, and he keeps turning it up. So I literally turned it down, pulled the knob off, and threw it out the window.
No.
No.
Yeah.
That's great.
We should have
And then
saved
we
her
got-
story for last.
No, that was good.
Right?
That was good. That was good. Well,
And
we'll
then
get.
we got to my house. I parked the car. I went inside. I don't know what happened to him.
Oh no!
Oh, Lord.
You just left him out there. You're like, bye.
Oh, yeah. Car was gone when I got up. I
All
don't care
right.
what happened.
Well, we have another caller calling in right now, so we're
We
gonna take that
do.
call. So,
Let's see what we got
without
here.
further ado, Michaela Savage, you are live and on the
is it
air.
my
Say
girl?
hello.
Hi, you guys.
Hey.
Hey, baby girl.
Oh, we all just got
All right,
real
so-
gay real quick. We were like, hey.
What's up?
All right, so I'm gonna sound off on a few things.
Okay.
First off, hi, Grandma. It's nice to hear from you.
Sabrina.
So a
Sabrina,
lot of
Sabrina's
people
the
don't know
savage
that
grandma.
Sabrina is actually our grandma.
Yeah, she is our
Hey,
grandma.
girl.
Yep.
Hey, girl.
So, anyways, well, first off, the worst thing that I've ever seen happen at a drag show
Okay.
is actually where the people in the audience actually decided to take over the stage.
What?
Oh, when did that
No,
happen?
that happens.
It actually happened at well, now it doesn't happen on Mondays, but it happened actually at Free Play. Once or
Oh,
twice.
Actually, it's
Sarah got
interesting. It's
interrupted.
interesting that you say that because I think that I've witnessed that a couple times. Sabrina, when somebody tries to step on the stage or take over the show, or they get up on stage and they dance, how do you handle that? What's your approach to that?
Well, I mean, if I'm in the middle of a number, I take them by the hand, I walk them to the side of the stage, and I place them there. If they come back out, I do it again. And then I make an announcement when my number's over. But most of the time, people know when I put them to the side, they either stay there or their friends grab them.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
All
I've
right.
had people who've jumped up on stage with me, even when I'm just doing karaoke or something like
Yeah.
that, where I have like shot looks to people and I've been like, I'm gonna kick this dude in the nuts if he doesn't leave. Like, I've definitely shot looks where like I'm pretty sure I don't want to get arrested tonight, so can like
That's
the
the
staff
topic.
do something?
That's a topic for another week.
It really
Karaoke.
is.
Michaela, what else you got for us?
About the whole thing about things. What was the other one? Like what Kel said about like dealing with like other things and the way that you're raised is absolutely true.
Mhm.
Yeah, it all
Like
has
now
to
that
do
I have a
with your-
drag kid, it all depends upon like how you're raised in the drag community. Because like also like Lady Sabrina said, there's some drag performers that you don't see anymore, and that's just the case.
Right.
It all depends upon like how you're raised in the community.
Right.
And thank God I got a mom like Chloe, and
Same.
I have people that influence me like Lady Sabrina and my grandma, of course.
All of our
Vita
grandparents are freaking
Devalpa.
amazing. They're like the best
Yeah.
grandparents ever.
Right.
I have a crazy family,
Right.
and it's
We do.
amazing, and that's what I
Well,
get.
we're very long in the tooth.
Well, I just wanna say, for everybody that doesn't know, the Savage Family is the group that performed for me on New Year's Eve, and y'all killed it. Y'all are amazing, fantastic.
I love the
Knocked
photos.
it out of the park.
His Cat Savage,
Yeah. Yep.
Michaela's
Yep.
partner.
So
posted
just
those
keep
pictures.
Michaela, just keep doing what you're doing. I know that I have you booked very soon, so I'm looking forward to that. And make sure you tell everybody about our open stage night on Thursday nights.
Michaela's
And
a
I
fun
will do
time.
the same
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
because
try to make
They're
it.
doing an
I
open
think
stage.
you're doing an open stage
The
as
Savage
well,
Lovers
right?
are doing an open stage, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it on the 16th in
Right.
Providence.
Right. So you got a PVD open stage, and that's very exciting. So we'll make sure that we give you a shout out when we get more details on that. But thank you so much for calling
absolutely.
in.
Thanks,
Love
Michaela.
Alrighty, talk to you guys
Bye,
later.
baby girl.
All right, we love you.
Bye.
All right, and with all of that being said, Sabrina, I appreciate you being here on our show today. Thank you so much for talking with us and sharing things with us. I hope we covered everything that we covered while we were off the air. I know that
Yeah,
there was
no,
a
we
lot.
definitely-
We got
definitely
really
caught
deep.
it.
I don't know if we covered it. I think we did.
I think we did.
We covered it.
But
Well, I
again,
mean, the other thing is that people are going to see this, and people are going to still be able to ask questions. All they have to do is just send them to me. I'm happy to respond.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
right. Yep. So for those of you that are looking for Lady Sabrina, you want to know where to find Lady Sabrina, there is a link at the bottom of our screen. It says www.theladysabrina.com. All of Sabrina's events are posted right there with tickets and everything. Or you can reach out to Sabrina, personally, or you can reach out to me because, a lot of the times I am fortunate enough to be the DJ for those events. So
it's true story.
So with all that being said, Sabrina, thank you so much for calling in and being here with us.
All right, I love you all.
We love you.
We love you
Sabrina,
too.
so much.
All right, and it doesn't matter what you are as long as you're a good one.
Awesome.
Thank
Love you.
I can't wait to see you again.
All right, love you, babies.
Bye.
Bye.
And with all of that, we are at the end of our show, guys. I don't know if you've noticed. But we are wearing some pretty sweet shirts. As you can see, we are all wearing swag. Kels, we have to work on.
I have the girl shirt on.
And the girls, we got to bring the graphics up higher to the titties. Yeah.
Oh no!
But
sex doesn't sell.
We now have long sleeve shirts. We have hoodies. And we have women's shirts, V-neck shirts available. If you would like any of these things, feel free to reach out to me, and I will tell you how you can get one as well. But before we go, we did do a drawing before we went live, and Melissa Marie, Missy, you won a shirt. So we're going to reach out to you, and we're going to give you a just-in-time shirt. And if you want to win a chance to get a shirt, then keep your eyes on the Facebook page. We will have posts, and if you share the post, then you get entered into the drawing.
Whoop.
And we have so many exciting things coming. Next week, we are going to be talking to bartenders. We're going to be going on the other side of the bar, and we're going to talk to bartenders about their experiences, which, I mean, I can tell you story after story because I've been doing it for over a decade at this point.
I was never behind the bar. I was just a cocktail waitress for a short period of time.
But I do want to thank everybody that called in. If you guys want to give us some donations, if you want to donate to the show, we are trying to upgrade our equipment. Everything that you need is right on the bottom of the screen. We have our Cash App, we have our Venmo, and we have our PayPal. And with all of that being said, we have hit the end of the show.
Can I add one more thing?
Can you add one more thing?
One more thing.
Yes.
Because I don't think people know. If you call the number, you can leave a voicemail. So if you have things that you want to talk about, you can leave a voicemail, and we can listen to it later. And then we can
I like
that.
that.
We can address it later.
So next week we can listen to our voicemails?
Yes. So we could do like a catch up or something. Yeah.
So if you watch, all right, so here's the thing. If you watch the show, that's a good idea. If you watch the show, if there's something you want to add and you didn't have a chance to watch it live, call the show, leave a message. We'll listen to it next week, and we will have a segment specifically about that. I like it.
I do too.
I like it.
The longer we make the show, the happier I
like
am.
It. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. You were just in time for some Just in Time, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Love your face. Bye.
Bye.
Baby, I'm that guy. Nothing off limits when I cross the line. I talk shit when I'm justified. They wanna get it, I'ma give it to them. Just in time. Who's that? Baby, I'm that guy. Nothing off limits when I cross the line. I talk shit when I'm justified. They wanna get it, I'ma